Mostly sunny, hot and humid today with a high near 90. Increasing clouds with a scattered thunder shower tonight, low 69. Partly sunny, a scattered morning thunder shower tomorrow with a high of 86. I'm Bill Courtney, 94.1, 620 KHB.
KHB Irwin, W231BM Clairton.
Serving the tri-state area. You're listening to 620. AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health has been heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock, and I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where you do you are encouraged to call in to join in. Today, well, we're taking that final lap around the corner. We are coming to the home stretch. Our show here at KHB is coming to an end on Friday. I thought it would be great to talk about things that we do. We started that discussion on Monday because it had been quite a long time since we really documented point for point the things that we offer here. So look, I'm going to pick up where I left off. You're allowed to come on in at any moment and rescue this thing and take it over by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And I'll go give that number additionally throughout the hour. Things that we do. I know it gets a little confusing sometimes, and we're hopefully going to clear things up. Let's take a look at what is up and coming. Friday, we're going to call that the last roundup, folks. We're going to open them up for anything you want to talk about on Friday as we bring our long tenure here at WKHP to an end. Then we're going to be opening up a new saga, a new chapter on a new station, a new channel beginning on Saturday. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that in just a moment. Let's tick down through the items that we got to clear up on our agenda. Number one, of course, Avazia training is around the corner. We brought the concept of microcurrent to you. Shannon Gosen was probably the go-to person at the time. That was way back in December of last year. Since then, we have really grown up large and have understood that there are frequency-specific devices and frequency non-specific microcurrent. Avazia probably the best example of the non-specific type, but don't fret any. Highly valuable in certain set of diseases, mostly all the pain problems. So you've been listening to us talk about microcurrent. You may have actually purchased, by the way, a number of you have purchased these devices, and you might like to get some training on how they are to be used. That's where we come in. We've got the first training session for Avazia units scheduled for up and coming in August 23rd, as a matter of fact. Of course, this is being piggybacked on the tail end of a national convention being held here in Pittsburgh for the massage therapists throughout the country. So there'll be a lot of folks coming from all over the United States and probably outside the United States to attend a three-day conference. That's a Wednesday. There's a 4-day conference at the Lawrence Convention Center. And Avazia are going to be one of the vendors in the vendor area, and we just figured that some people are going to be buying those units that work with patients daily, and they're going to want to come home and go back home fully trained in how to use them, and that was how the original idea came up. So we said, hey, the conference is over on Saturday, the 22nd of August. Let's have a training session on August 23rd. It's a Sunday. It's an all-day phenomenon down at the Westin Hotel. Of course, that is the hotel that literally connects to the Lawrence Convention Center. A number of the attendees will already be staying there. We're going to be there all day with the Avasia conference. Now, look, in terms of registering for the conference, there's two ways to do it. Number one, the way I've been telling you is if you have not ever purchased such a unit and you'd like to be trained, all you have to do is head to the website firstalternatives.com. That's firstalternatives.com. On the opening page, click on the icon marked training, and you'll see the August 23rd event here in Pittsburgh. Once you click on that, you're taken to a registration page. You can conduct the whole thing right there, completely finish it, and pay the fee. They have a PayPal page there, and be done, and we'll see you on the 23rd. If you have purchased and do own an Avasia unit, you are entitled to quite a large discount in the fee for the course, and the way you get that is you call. I've got this, just found this out the other day. You actually call and enroll yourself personally so they can give you that discount, because there's no way of doing it online. And so the number at First Alternatives, their customer service line is 954-789-2097. That's 954-789-2097. And they will be able to credit you a substantial portion of the course by having already previously purchased a unit. They'll ask you for the serial number of the unit and the like, and it'll all work out in your behalf. Now, don't fret any. If you haven't purchased a unit yet and you decide to purchase, you'll have refunded back that same amount to you actually at the end of the course. So one way or another, you're going to be rewarded for having a unit to use for yourself and your family, or you may be a practitioner that wants to learn the ability to use the more sophisticated devices. Once again, Avasia is coming to town, the first training session. The instructor, by the way, well, his name is Lynn Teachworth. You've met him before here, and Mr. Mike Legal will be on scene. He is the president and CEO of First Alternatives and the sole marketer for the Avasia units countrywide. You've had him on the show too. So hope to see you there, and in the interim, you know how to register now, either online or directly by phone. Our programs. Look, we are coming to two of our participants finish their I program today. Now, as you would know, today's Wednesday, so that's 3 days. It began Monday, Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, and that must mean that they have some retinal issue, right? Well, in fact, they do, and we're going to be finding out later on this afternoon how well they did fare with the 3-day program. This is one we've been offering now for 2 years. This is the anniversary month. We started in July of 2013, and here we are 2 years later, and each and every month, a group of as little sometimes as 1, as maximum sometimes as 5, each and every month have met to go through this type of program, and we have a 92% success rate, meaning that for those who participate, no matter what the retinal disease, like they could have macular degeneration, and oftentimes they do, and it doesn't really matter whether the kind of MACD is either wet or dry, the wet being the more serious type, but all types respond. How about glaucoma? Another great claimer of vision. In fact, this one can and ultimately could provoke total and complete blindness. And then something like diabetic retinopathy, easily the first sign in a diabetic that things are moving down the road is in the back of the eye, and all sorts of visual problems develop. There are many more retinal diseases, but the fact that they're retinal means, well, not much available out there, folks. The conventional medical community doesn't really have a treatment to get you reestablished and get this vision loss corrected, but Dr. Ed Condrad does. He put this together some 15 years ago, these 3-day programs, and we were piggybacking and working with him for a number of years. 2 years ago, he said, no mas, I'm not going around the country anymore. We're going to let you do them right here, and I'll be involved with each and every case, but if they would like to come to you up here in the north or down with me in the south, we'll let them make a decision as to where they want to go. So we've been proud to be able to be the northern affiliate of what he refers to as the Healing the Eye and Wellness Center, located now in Fort Myers, Florida. So the up and coming, well, we have 2 that are finishing today, and they're retinal, and then 1 more will finish up tomorrow. That's the second program this month. It was an unbelievable month. You have responded, Pittsburgh. You are coming in, and you are reaping the benefits of these programs, whether or not you have a retinal disease, of course that finishes today, or the newer one, the one that we're really proud to be able to help you with, and that's cataracts. That one there, a lot of people are afflicted with that one, and just pretty much as you age, all of you are going to confront that particular problem. Okay, the August program, if you have an interest in becoming involved, either yourself or a loved one, is going to be held 17, 18, and 19, and possibly 20, whether it's a 4-day program or not, of August. We do not have a September date yet, but that does round out the summer schedule. That's 17, 18, 19, and 20. If you feel you'd like to know more about it, a couple of places to go. One, head to our website here. We're known as the Pittsburgh Eye Protocol. And we have our own website, pittsburgheyeprotocol.com. Head to the site, learn more about what we do there. And there are a couple places on the site that we actually link you to Dr. Ed Conrad's site. That's a very and busy site. He's got so much stuff on there, and sometimes you get a little confused. So you can go directly to healingtheeye.com to Dr. Conrad's site, and much of the backup information and the data will be found there, or you can link directly to those regions from our site. One way or another, you can get a lot of information just by dialing it, either of those 2 websites up on your computer. And then, of course, if you want to find out some specifics, call us to Pittsburgh Eye Protocol. Our direct number to Sister Sarah, who will pick up the thing, will be 724-993-0500. That's 724-993-0500. By the way, we're getting a lot of requests. Kim was asking me yesterday, of course, she's my office manager, hey, what's this thing about discs? I'm getting, people are coming in, they want this disc. I don't know anything about it, and I forgot to tell her that we put a disc together, as we do sometimes. Last time we did one of these discs, it was all of the Dr. Frank Schallenberger shows. And there were 3 shows, and it's become a classic for you to ask to hear them again and again so many times that we put them all on one disc. And that one's been available for quite some time. But most recently, and I think we only had it available since July 16th. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it. The disc contains 3 shows. They're all related to the eyes. Show number 1 is a show done with Dr. Ed Conrad back in December of 2014. He got pretty riled up about what was happening with the retinal specialists in the country doing those injections through the, I know this sounds a little rough, through the eyeball back to the retina itself, and injecting with a anti-VEGF material. Anyway, they do these injections. It takes them literally 10 or 15 seconds to do it. They charge yeoman's amount to do it, but we found out, boy, there's some problems. He got so riled up, he said, I got to come on the show. And what resulted was a show that we named, because he asked it to be named, the Watergate of eye care. So you know how with images that conjures up in terms of a sinister component to it. Anyway, conspiratorial and sinister as it is, that is one of the shows. It's the very first show on the disc. The second show, we met him much later on in the picture. His name is Dr. Todd Wiley. He's an eye doctor from Spokane, Washington. And he revealed to me at a show, I met him in October of last year at a microcurrent convention down in St. Petersburg. And during that presentation, he made a statement. And the statement was, well, look, by using the beamer, I've been able to reverse 23 out of the last 26 patients with cataracts. And that was phenomenal. And it blew my mind. And so we had to find out about the beamer. We've been driving the beamer around here ever since. But we added our own touch to it because we can do so much more than just put people on the beamer. And voila, that's how our cataract program developed. So the Dr. Todd Wiley show, which on the show we revealed that the number had changed from 23 out of 26 to 55 out of 83. Still great results. Well, we're up in the 90% range now, and all because we learned about this from him. That's the second show on the disc. The third show, we just had to bring to you after we had our first program here with the first group of cataract patients that went through, and the response to about our eye doctor had to finally reveal. We had to bring her on the show. She had to tell. I wanted her to tell you what she felt about this whole thing from her perspective as an eye doctor. I'll put it in one quote that I'll never forget that she made when I asked her on the very day that the patients came down for their second evaluation. So they're evaluated on day one, come back 4 days later, and we really didn't know what we were going to find. We had no idea what the response would be. We figured it'd be good, but we didn't know for sure. Well, the quote, if I can remember it well, by Dr. Lisa Bowen was, my 15 years of working as an eye doctor, I have never seen, and how about this part, nor did I envision that I would ever see. Pretty powerful statement that these results can happen in 4 days. Since then, we had to bring her on the show. That was on June 3rd. We put that show on there, and as a little bonus, we even included many of the people who were involved with the program and let them tell you about their testimonial results. I think it's a great disc that brings a number of concepts together. You should have it in your house for anybody in your family. And you know what? They're $5. Get a couple of them. Give them out to friends. They're not going to know about. They're afflicted. They have these diseases. They're pretty miserable. They're actually pretty scared because they see their vision slipping, having no idea that something can be done about it. And now that we've added cataracts to the list, we're really proud to say I think we got the bases covered. So call up, get a disc. We can ship one out, or you can stop by and get one. Really a pleasure to be able to offer them to you more in upcoming as time moves on. Okay, final thing I want to mention. Look, we're signing off at the KHB. We'd love being here. This has been a great run. But on Saturday we start a new chapter, folks. We're going to be on WJAS 1320 Talk Radio Pittsburgh. They call it. And by the way, they got the heavyweights on that station. That's the Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity lineup. But on weekends, they got me. I'm going to be starting this weekend for our first show. Invite you to come aboard to what we call it TW3. Of course, that stands for the Weekend Wellness Workshop. Pretty catchy, huh? TW3. Anyway, we're going to be there 10 o'clock. So dial us up. And there's a couple of ways to do it. Actually, a few ways. Number one, of course, you can go to the AM radio station 1320. Depending on where you are, you may have a crystal clear signal, but folks, it's AM radio. You may not. Well, you get the second option. Head to WJAS.com, and we'll be streaming there live at WJAS.com. By the way, another bonus is when we complete the show, it's automatically logged onto their website, and you'll be able to listen to it immediately following and into the future. And then finally, I didn't know about this. I didn't know really what it meant, but this is a Clear Channel iHeart Media. It's part of a global network. Folks, we turn into a national show on Saturday. It's going coast to coast through the miracle of electronics, allowing you can listen to this show on your phone. You can hear it on a tablet. You can hear it on your laptop, crystal clear channel as it is, and you get to decide which way makes it more convenient to you while I'm doing it live or whether or not it's going to be one in the hopper. We think there's all sorts of advantages to being with WJAS. We begin that on Saturday. Look forward to seeing you. We're going to take baby steps. I think we have to educate Pittsburgh with a group of people that haven't come as far as you all have, but you might as well come along for the ride too. That's Saturday morning at 10, and I'll see you then. All right, let's take a short break. We open them up to you if you want to come on in here. By the way, the number to do that is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll be back in a moment with Things That We Do, Part 2. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on Cage Speed 620 for over 17 years. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. We're coming around that home stretch with that commitment. Look forward to having you aboard with us here in these final couple of shows, and then look forward to the new chapter with WJAS that we talked about. We're opening up to you if you have a mind to weigh in on whatever you like to weigh in on. The number to do that is 412-825-6262. We do have a knock on the door. Come on, the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Yes, hi, Doc. I just wanted to say thank you for your shows all these years. I've been a long-time listener, and they've been a mainstay of my mornings. I've really enjoyed them. Very informative and actually entertaining as well.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words, and just make the move on over. It can be as easily as, because Saturday's sometimes a little cluttered, you know, and may not be the better day for you, but you'll be able to listen to it live or pick up on it with a podcast by dialing up the various ways to listen to the show. Hope you move on over to us, but those are very kind words. I appreciate you mentioning them to me today.
You're welcome. It's been, it's really great. I really enjoyed it, and I will try certainly to Saturdays. It is a little different than the weekday, but yeah, that'll leave a little hole on the weekend, getting ready for work and all in the mornings. And,
yeah, I know. Everybody's just sort of got their routine, and I know at the hour we launched it, it was a very convenient time for many. They call this the drive time hour, and that was also a plus and a bonus. I will say, and I'm giving away a secret, but actually the show is going to be on starting September now, 2 days on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So it might work out, either one.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, all the best to you.
Hey, thank you so much for those kind words. Let's see you on.
Like I say, remember all the old shows, and it was a lot of fun, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. There you go, folks. Very kind words. Another knock on the door. Come on, the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Yes.
Hi. Hello.
Dr. Courtney.
Yes.
I have a question about chelation therapy that you offer.
Yes, ma'am.
I read some things online that you have to have your amalgam fillings removed before you get that done. Is that correct?
Well, of course, there's two forms of chelation. The form that you're talking about is to remove heavy metals. And if it's determined that mercury is one of those heavy metals, and it's highly likely that it is, and there's a way to test to find out, but it makes better sense if you're going to have such a reservoir of mercury in the amalgams of your mouth, it makes very good sense, although it's not mandatory, but it makes good sense for you to get the amalgams worked on first and take the mercury out after that. If it turns out that mercury is not well represented in your metals, and you would learn that from heavy metal testing, then in fact you wouldn't have to wait. So you got to find out first what your status is, how you test out. There's essentially two ways to do it. The standard way that I've been using for so many years is to do a provocation test, where we give you a chelating agent and you collect your urine for 24 hours afterwards. And then we analyze the urine. We can find those metals in there and determine what your burden is. The newer way, and I swear to God, they tell me by September I'll be able to offer it, is something called oligoscanning. It takes 20 seconds in the office and electronically tells us what your metals are. One way or the other, find out where you begin so that you'll know where you end up if it's 6 months later or a year later. Okay?
And is there a safe way that dentists can remove those?
There is only one. Well, I'm not so sure the word safe should be used, especially if you are mercury sensitive. But there's a way to protect you. On the day that you have those amalgams removed, the exposure to mercury on that day in that dentist's office is going to be the greatest exposure that you're ever going to have in your entire lifetime. There are certain precautions that need to be taken. They were all developed by a dentist. His name was Dr. Hal Huggins, which, by the way, we lost Dr. Huggins this past year in November. He was the guiding light to learn about how dentistry could ruin your life. And his protocol is infamous now. there are a few dentists in Western Pennsylvania who have been trained by Hal or his representatives. I feel that the best advice I can give you is to locate one of those few doctors. There may be 4 of them, okay? That's not many. Call our office. I'll be happy to give you an idea of the one closest to you, okay?
Oh, that would be great.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck to you now. Uh-huh. There it is. Yeah. Reservoir first. Burden second. Reservoir first. Burden second. Hey, we open it up to you. Come on in if you got a mind to. The number 412-825-6262. I started on Monday to work through a list. We got a call, and the patient and realistically said, "You know what? You talk about so much stuff that I'm confused. What do you really do? What do you offer?" And I said, "You know what? I can see where this patient gets confused. So let's sort of tick through a list." I started that list on Monday. I got through the cardiovascular component for sure, talking about the job that we do. If you have heart issues, I refer you to the show that we did on Monday. It's in the archives. Go listen to it. We also piggyback the discussion of ECP, which is external counterpulsation, in that show. And we just got started talking about a third topic, which I'm going to spend a little bit of time on again today. That's our ozone treatment. Boy, has it changed the course of events around here since we first met Dr. Frank Schallenberger. I met him initially, I tell this story frequently, in December of 2013. And in January 2014, we brought him here. He was on the show in January, February, and April. He was the person who first described what ozone could do, and you were listening, folks. You were really listening. You caught on. And in April of that same year, the same month that he showed up to be here the third time, we launched our ozone treatment program. We had to wait to launch it because, well, we first had to be trained in ozone from Dr. Frank Schallenberger himself, but we're part, by virtue of that training, of an IRB that's granted to us by none less than the FDA, folks. It's big stuff. The Food and Drug Administration wears very big pants, and they say that Dr. Courtney is allowed to use ozone in the state of Pennsylvania. And it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because he's doing good work for us. So we have that, a relationship with the FDA. We are under an IRB, that stands for Institutional Review Board. So the FDA just came to Frank at some point because they knew him as the godfather of ozone. And they said, "Look, Frank, we're getting a lot of questions here down at the FDA about ozone, and we do not know how to answer those questions. So do you think that you and your doctors could get together and come up with a set of rules that we could all live with? And if you can do that, we'll put you under an IRB. It's a very protective blanket, folks, and allow you and all your doctors to continue to treat while doing research for us." So the rules they devised them, they came up with them, we all follow them, and every case that we treat here ends up becoming part of the research project. I'll have to tell you that it is an experimental program. I've got to say all sorts of things about this can do this to you, and this can do that to you. I actually don't see how any of the ozone therapies could really bother you at all, but I can tell you about it, and then we're able to include your case and send all the results of how well we do first to Dr. Schallenberger, who then collects them from all the doctors, and then Dr. Schallenberger sends them to the FDA. And so we've found, as I mentioned on the Monday, that 2 things that this stuff does that nothing else has ever been able to touch. Number 1, it's the antimicrobial go-to of choice. It will kill all bugs, whether that's a virus, a bacteria, a fungi, or a parasite. And it will do so without any resistances. There is no such thing as methicillin. Well, there's such thing as MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, but there's no resistances to any of the oxygen therapies. Just doesn't develop. You can't develop. And so we find it as the antimicrobial of choice. And the second thing, and I don't think I heavied up enough on it, the number one complaint that I get with people who come into this office is that they are fatigued, they are dead tired, they have no energy, and of course that usually means the mitochondria, the little organelles in your cells that literally metabolize the foods that you eat to produce a chemical form of energy called ATP. It only happens one place, folks. It's the mitochondria that do it. And if you need energy, we've got to revive the mitochondria. On a good day, with all planets in alignment, as I say, a most healthy individual can produce 36 moles of ATP for every mole of fat that they consume. Forget about the word mole. Just think of it in terms of a ratio of 36 to 1 or 1 to 36, however you want to say it. That's if you're healthy. That's if you're an excellent specimen. We mere mortals don't really operate at that level, but we can get you there again, and that's where the ozone treatments come in. Two ways of delivering ozone, as you've learned. One is systemically, giving it IV. After we've hooked you up to an IV, we take 60 cc's of your blood and mix it with another 120 cc's of saline, and then expose it to a large amount of ozone gas. A reaction occurs. The third oxygen molecule, which is very unstable, because ozone, after all, is O3. That third oxygen molecule reacts with your blood and forms an ozonide, which we give back to you. It's the ozonide that does all the wonderful stuff and lasts for many days to weeks. That's where we get the beauty of ozone, and it will not harm you in any way, which is, of course, what I really like to report. Hey, got another caller. Come on in the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
I didn't catch the whole story, Doc, but are you going to be on 620 any longer, or just on Saturday on the...
Yeah, starting Friday's going to be our last show here. And then we switch right on over on Saturday. That's like there's no rest for the wicked. We start Saturday with our show at 10 o'clock on WJAS 1320. And we're there on weekends. And for the month of August, it'll just be a 1-hour show on Saturdays. But when September rolls around, oh my goodness, we're on Saturday 2 hours, Sunday 2 hours. And so it's a 4-hour presence. It's going to be an interesting ride. Come on over and listen to us.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you very much for the question. There you go, folks. Yeah, starting in September, it's going to be a pretty much a weekend experience. They got this little thing, by the way, where there's not, what is it? They are, the WJAS broadcasts all the Duquesne football and basketball games. And I'm told there are 9 games that begin at noon, and we'll have to interrupt the last 15 minutes of the show. Now, when that happens, they say what we're going to do is not just let you do the show in the morning. We're going to replay the thing in the afternoon. So there'll be Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning. You will have a difficult time avoiding or missing me. I'll be there most of the time, and look forward to explaining to you what we call TW3, the Weekend Wellness Workshop. TW3, starting this weekend. All right. Next up on the list, how could you forget? We've been a go-to place to work with immunological issues. Immunology and inappropriate reactions of your immune system can make you miserable. Now, there's 2 ways that it can make you miserable. One, these classical allergies that usually come in 3 forms, either an inhaled allergy, a food allergy, or a chemical allergy. All 3 can produce a whole bunch of symptoms, and they're wide-ranging and can be from minor to devastating, really, on occasions, and sometimes even anaphylactic. We're able to intervene and stop the reactions from occurring literally forever by using an immunological technique developed and brought to us by Dr. William Butch Schrader. You've heard me talk to him about him many times over these years. Dr. William Butch Schrader introduced LDA, which stands for Low Dose Antigen. He introduced it here in this country in 1993. So I mean, it's like, 10, 12 years worth of working with thousands upon thousands of patients, and a statistical advantage shows that 85% of the time we're able to completely reverse these allergies and have them corrected forever. Much different than any other form of the conventional treatments out there, including allergy shots, which last for a week. And so LDA, I believe, has allowed us to bring to you, there are 90 trained doctors in the country that do LDA. We're one of them, and happy to be able to bring to you the ability to correct these allergies and to make them definitively gone. And love to do it. Over the course of a year, these injections, which are given intradermally, meaning within the skin itself, because there's a unique nervous system that lies within the skin itself. The nervous system is called the dendritic nervous system, and it has a unique property of being hot-wired. I use that term, and I mean it for what it means. Hot-wired to all of your lymph nodes. And don't know whether you know this, the lymph node is the site of immune response. So literally, by putting these allergens into the system that is hot-wired and connected to your lymph nodes, you form a cell called a T suppressor cell, which lives on for 90 days, only requiring you to be re-injected once every 60 days or 2 months for about a year until we get this completely shut down. So we've had great success with the allergies to classical allergies, and we've been doing this now since November of 2012. I have always said that the resources, the go-tos, are number one, head to Dr. Butch Schrader's website. His website is drschrader.com. That's DR without the period at the end. Dr. Schrader, SHRADER, drschrader.com. There you'll read about LDA as written by the man himself, Dr. William Butch Schrader. And I think it was done so well, I couldn't improve on it. And so we just send everybody there. Also, there's a page, and click on the icon on the left side to bring the page up. The page is called Things That We Treat. And when you click on that, a page of 66 different medical conditions pops up. Look at that list. See if you think you're on that list. And if you're on that list, rest assured you have made the list, because to get there on that list, you have to have the ability to have your condition corrected at least 85% of the time. Pretty high number, folks. And you'll see all sorts of diseases in there that you never even suspected could be corrected immunologically. So check his website out, check the list out, and then that's the written word. Go listen to the spoken word by going to my website at djcmd.com. At the website, click on the icon marked Archives. That takes you to my site on the YouTube. And once you just scroll back to November of 2012. In the month of November of 2012, we launched the program of LDA here, and we kicked it off with what we called LDA Fridays. Each Friday in the month of November 2012, another show, and yet another show, and yet another show was done on LDA. The first one was Dr. William Butch Schrader himself. Great show. Second one was Dr. John Wyckoff talking about autoimmune disease. And the third and the fifth week, because Thanksgiving was thrown in there, was Dr. Kathleen Janelle, a holistic naturopathic gastroenterologist, and the use of that she has found for LDA in her practice. That pretty much rounds out the story. Notice I said autoimmune disease because, boy, if there's one area that has really burgeoned as being potential to correct, it's autoimmune disease. And we really learned this only in October of last year when Dr. Ty Vincent, an accomplished physician from Wasilla, Alaska, took to the podium at a conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico, to explain to the 90 doctors that do LDA that you can now conquer these very difficult diseases. Lyme's disease was one of them. That's what made us a Lyme disease headquarters here, by the use of this immunological approach. So you can listen to the Ty Vincent shows. They're also on my website. We did one in December, one in January, and one in February. And those 3 shows, by the way, should probably make a disc on that one too, so that we have it available. Anyway, that's LDA. And the new component called LDI. The LDI stands for low-dose immunotherapy. That's pretty much directed to autoimmune diseases, things like rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, Hashimoto's disease. The list goes on and on and on. Or the classical allergies, foods, or inhaleds, or chemicals. And that's the way LDA has worked out. Okay. Let's take a short break. Let me catch my breath. When we come back, continue on with Things That We Do, Part 2, and also open up the phones for you to call in with us. And just check in the number 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We'll be back in just a moment. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. We're here on a Wednesday morning version of the show, going down, in a way, memory lane, talking about things that we do. The list gets rather lengthy. Sometimes I even get confused, and trying to clear the air, allowing you to appreciate what it is we offer here, and give you some information on where to go to get more information about it. But at least listing for you, point for point for point, the things that have been most successful for us and what makes us so unique. We also have opened it up to you today. If you got a mind to weigh in here by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We do have a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Hello.
Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
Good. Okay. Just had a question as far as you being on KHB. Is there a way that KHB could keep you on, but like reruns on weekdays?
I don't know if there, and we were just talking about this. Some decisions are going to be made. I can't answer that question right now, but there are plenty of reruns in the can, so to speak. And while Mr. Stevens is trying to arrange for somebody to take over this slot, there might very well be the opportunity to have those reruns for at least a short period of time until he fills that slot. Time? Yeah, same time. I don't know what Monday morning brings because I really haven't heard. But I'll see you there on Saturdays, hopefully, too, while you listen to the reruns. And as many, and by the way, all the things are on the website. So if you want a rerun, my goodness, there's hundreds of shows at my website. Go check them all out. All right?
Because you definitely had a unique show because people could call in about anything, Dr. Courtney. And you were so gracious, and you answered everybody's question. It wasn't something that was, oh, you can't bring that up. On some shows, it's for lack of a better word, censored. As far as you had a unique show that really continued from Deborah Ray and.
Oh, that relationship went back so far. Well, look, everything that I'm all about, that doesn't change. I'm moving venues, and so I hope that what came across for all these years, there's similarly what's going to come across with the new venue. Just looking forward to it. And so please come on over. I'd really miss you if you weren't there. I mean, I know you so well, and that voice always, by the way, I hear that voice. Do you do anything during the day other than listen to KHB? Because I hear your voice all over the place.
Well, it's definitely, I can't multitask too much because of my health, but I try to always have it on because, different problems that,
Yeah, you've got enough medical issues that, you've covered the board.
My is always chirped open,
Well, I will say this. I'm guessing, and I don't mean this demeaning in any way, but the clientele, the people that listen to the shows on KHB are so savvy. They are so educated. I've learned as much as I've given. I'll tell you that, because this group is exceptional. I'm going to guess that with the new crew, I got to start with baby steps, because they're not going to be to this level. I can't open with where we're going to end, because you've grown with me so much that I know that your knowledge level is up that high. So I'm going to begin at building squares and move forward from there. And come along for the ride. Love to have you aboard.
Well, I hope on Friday people call in who have really, benefit as far as, your therapies on Friday and make it a whole dedication day.
Oh, well, that'd be nice.
Awesome.
Well, I sort of labeled it the last roundup day. And if it turns into that, all well and good. If not, we'll figure out to do it at the time. I'd look to see you and everybody else listening to me today at the new place. And whoever takes this slot, I hope you support them as much as you've supported me, and look forward to that. Okay?
Okay, thanks, Dr. Courtney.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. My pleasure. Thank you very much for the phone call. And, I get a little choked up here. Interesting run, folks. A lot of years. Okay. You can come on in here and weigh in on anything you want by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We're sort of moving through a list of things that we do, and who could forget this particular office? And it's because you people made me do this, okay? I never thought that this was going to be a avenue of pursuit of mine, but because you kept showing up here and showing me that you had to have this work done, it sort of moved me into what I refer to as guru status. And that's with reference to a set of diseases all lumped under thyroid. I have become a thyroid guru, and you folks made me do it. How did it all start? Well, you know how it started. I started shaking hands with a bunch of you, especially you ladies, and you kept throwing that cold fish that you called a handshake into my hand, and it was ice cold. So much that it just perked me right up, saying, oh my God, what's going on here? Now, words weren't usually spoken initially, but one lady after another with these cold extremities led to the conclusion, hey, this got to be one of two things. Either this young lady is suffering from Raynaud's disease or Raynaud's syndrome, and that is possible because it's more likely in women than not, but it's rare. Or that's a thyroid staring me in the kisser. Well, as it turned out, the chances are of it being Raynaud's was really minimal. Not too many folks with Raynaud's, but a lot of them with thyroid issues. And we learned, heck, why not? You were born and raised in western Pennsylvania, the goiter belt. This is the goiter belt here, folks. And because there's no iodine in the soils, you were destined, especially you ladies were destined to develop thyroids that weren't healthy, and it's really become over. I say 450. I think the number finally is over 500 of you ladies that we treat for thyroid each and every day. So looking forward to meeting a new group of you. But we certainly do our thyroid treatments different. I have to thank Dr. Roy Carey, who, by the way, will be one of my guests on the new show on Saturday. I'll let you know that. Dr. Roy Carey had a unique way of treating thyroid. He was nice enough to pass it on to me, and we get this thing resolved in 99% of the cases. And so thyroid correction is something that gives these women their lives back. Now, the men don't usually demonstrate to such a degree these symptoms. It's the ladies that do. And by the way, why is that so? Well, that iodine that you lack because there's no iodine in our soils, because geologically, when the glaciers melted, it goes that far back, folks. When the glaciers melted, we got washed out of our soils every bit of iodine that was in them. And so consequently, any foods that are grown in our soils don't have any iodine, and that's the kickoff. That's what gets it started. Without iodine, you can't make healthy thyroid hormone, and not being able to make that healthy thyroid hormone sets you up for a lifetime worth of misery because your thyroid hormone is inadequate. And so we've got to try, if we get you early enough, to replace the iodine, but usually we catch you so late that you can take a truckload of iodine by the time you reach your 40s and 50s. Just can't rescue the gland. You're going to have to be put on thyroid hormone, but an adequate amount of thyroid hormone to do it. I would say this, that the one recommendation I would have, do not ever use, and I don't, thyroid lab work to make a decision as to whether or not you should be treated for thyroid disease. This is the big mistake I think is made in the conventional medical community. They order those lab tests, and the vast majority of them come back normal. And by virtue of it, the doctors say, oh, I thought maybe your thyroid was responsible for symptoms, but looking here, this lab work is normal, so it really can't be your thyroid, and then just leave it in the dust. Well, if you don't use that as your guide and use the patient's symptoms plus their basal pulses, meaning their pulse when they emerge from sleep in the morning, and their basal body temperatures, you'll be able to identify it every time. And utilizing that same set of 3 factors, symptoms and pulses and temperatures, keep on bringing on the thyroid hormone until you move all 3 of them. And sometimes it takes some pretty large doses, sometimes it doesn't. But the fact that a conventional doctor usually starts with the lab test, and only 10% of the thyroid patients that I treat actually have the abnormal labs, meaning that they weren't missed by their conventional doctors. The conventional doctors made the call. The problem then becomes, oh my goodness, we're going to put you on Synthroid, which I believe is the mistake. Synthroid is a dud. It's synthetic T4, and it does not do the job in a large percentage of cases. We move to natural forms of thyroid to do that job. So if you feel that cold hands, cold feet, what are some of these symptoms? Cold hands, cold feet. Early morning accentuated fatigue. Brain fog. Irregular menstrual cycles. Constipation. Hair loss. Premature graying. Infertility. Mood swings. These are all the classic symptoms of thyroid disease, and every single one of them can and will be reversed when we begin to work with you. So ladies, come on in, set time to see us so that we can get to the bottom of your the reason that your handshake is so cold, that you sort of thought the whole way along that it was your thyroid, but your doctor said, oh no, it isn't. And you were very upset and let down when that happened, and I'm going to tell you that you were right from the get-go. It's your thyroid and has to be corrected and reversed. All right. Another. Well, let's just say, and I'll pick up a couple of these last things on Friday right at the beginning, but got to tell you, we have been a pain clinic since day one. And don't mention it as much as I think I should. And there's been a resurgence of this pain component to my practice because we've had microcurrent brought to the practice. And we have a completely different approach to how we treat chronic pain problems or acute pain problems. And so a lifetime's worth of knowledge that yielded therapies that were beneficial, but they couldn't get the thing solved. And with frequency-specific microcurrent, where the Avasia units were actually getting them solved, and would want you to come in for any reason to use microcurrent, whether it is frequency-specific using the Inspirastar device or the non-frequency specific using the Avasia device. Microcurrent is going to be the wave of the future, and look forward to being at the pioneer level of this therapy. Hey, look, we'll see you on Friday. It'll be the last Roundup show on Friday. You can come on and check in and get it off your chest, anything on your mind. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.